you, and thanks for your presence. Today we will talk about H-1B visas. Our attorney, Benjamin Hamilton, who is an expert on this subject, will answer all your questions about this topic, including registration, lottery, selection process, all about the H-1B visas. So you are welcome. Please, if you have any questions, contact us through this Facebook Live, and we will view the answers. Benjamin, you are very, very welcome. You are in charge now. Please talk about this matter, who is very important for our clients and for all the people who are listening us and viewing us. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I guess the first question is, what is the H-1B visa? So obviously this is it's a visa category that allows U.S. employers to sponsor employees in specialty occupations. Really what that is any position that requires a specific degree. So you see a lot of like accountants and engineering, IT, but that is what the H-1B visa is. And obviously right now the people that are very interested in the lottery and the whole process are those who are, in school about to graduate or maybe graduated recently and are currently working on F1 OPT.
So it's a very interesting visa. It's just for students or other kind of people, someone who wants to be here in the USA?
Well, anyone can qualify that has, the required sort of education or experience. So it can be somebody who is not in the U.S., who maybe earned a degree abroad and is already working, but found a sponsor here in the U.S. that wants to bring them over. Now, a good chunk of the new H-1B applications are people who are going to school in the U.S. and are about to graduate or graduated recently.
Perfect. So, Joe, can you put the second question in? Oh, good. We have another question for you, Benjamin. What is the H-1B visa lottery? Why the most important thing is why is a lottery? Because people say, well, if I had the requirements, I want to work, I have to do it. Why is a lottery?
Well, it's a lottery because Congress has limited the amount of new H-1B visas they give out every year. So they give out 85,000. Of those, 20,000 are reserved for people that have U.S. master's degrees. So not foreign master's degrees, U.S. master's degrees. So there's 85,000. And in a typical year, there are far more than 85,000 applications. Actually, just for a little bit of context here, in 2018, there was 198,000 applications. 2019, 190,000 applications. 2020, 200,000 applications. And then last year, for the 2021, there were 274,000 applications. So the way they do this is they get together all the applications and then conduct a random lottery to select 85,000 people for the H-1B.
Is this a new process? Because since I remember that there was no lottery, but now I have seen that this process means that we have to have a lottery. Is this a new process? How long have you been here?
Well, there's always been a lottery, but there have been years in which the demand was down, so they didn't actually have to do it, like 2008, 2009 in there. What's changed this year is kind of how they conduct the lottery. So I guess that's getting to the next question is how do I register for the lottery? In previous years, what happened is everybody submitted their full application on April 1st. So USCIS would have to receive and process 200,000 applications and then conduct the lottery. What's changed, and this changed last year, is rather than have everybody submit their full applications, is everybody now registers online between March 9th this year and March 25th, right? Everybody registers. So the question is, well, how do I register? Well, the way you register is your company goes online and creates like an account with USCIS. and then the company is allowed to add beneficiaries. These are the employees that they want to sponsor. It doesn't actually require a lot of information. It's usually just like the name, date of birth, passport, and then they check whether or not they have a U.S. master's degree. That's it. That's why last year registrations went up from 200,000 to 274,000, because it's a lot easier than preparing and submitting a full application to just register. So this year that they're doing the registration again, March 9th to March 25th. We think that there will be as many, if not maybe more, people registering, because it's such a low bar to entry. You just create an account, add a person, pay a $10 fee. That's it. That's all you have to do to register.
In which moment we can help people doing this? Can we help them, or we have to go until?
So we help throughout the entire process. Right now, what we're helping do is, employers are coming to us with potential cases, and we look at them and we provide an analysis like, okay, what is the job code going to be for this position? What do we think the prevailing wage is going to be? And then we help them, work through the registration. So yeah, we help employers throughout the whole process, even at this early stage. Now, once registration is complete on the 25th, then USCIS will conduct a lottery based on the registration. And they'll notify selected applicants around April 1st, right? You'll be able to log back into the account, or the employer will be able to log back into the account and see if their people have been selected or not. Some people ask, well, can I have multiple registrations? The answer is yes, if it's with different employers.
Oh.
So if you have multiple registrations under the same employer account, USCIS is probably going to reject both, right? But if you have two separate employers with separate accounts and they both register for you, you could hypothetically have multiple registrations. We did this last year without any incident.
So this is a good opportunity if they have two different offers or three different offers from other employers. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of gets into the second question of, well, why would I have multiple registrations? Well, because it's a lottery. And so the next question is, well, what are my odds of being selected? And obviously having multiple registration improves your odds, because right now you're looking at, well, last year there was 274,000 people, and then they ran the lottery for 65,000 slots. So your odds were about 30-ish%, right? And then everybody with a U.S. master's degree who doesn't get selected in the first go around, they get a second shot at the remaining 20,000 visas, right? So again, your odds are again about 30%. So if you have just a bachelor's degree or a foreign master's degree, then your odds are around 30%. If you have a U.S. master's degree, then it's 30% once and then around 30% again. Again, this isn't, not exact numbers, because we don't know exactly how many people are going to apply in a given year. Just to throw out some more numbers, of the 274,000 applications last year, 145,000 were under the regular cap of 65,000, and then 123,000 were for the master's cap. So there's actually a lot of people that apply under the master's cap. So I mean, those are your odds, right? You're looking at around 30-ish%. So having multiple registrations with multiple companies can improve your odds. The only other way to improve your odds is to have a U.S. master's degree, right? USCIS does not consider the employer. So if you work for Amazon or if you work for a mom and pop store, it doesn't matter in the lottery. Right now, if you're getting paid $500,000 a year or getting paid 60, also it doesn't matter. It's a straight lottery.
So you're telling us that just this opportunity is just for those people who has a master. What about if I have a bachelor's degree or doctor's degree? Is the minimum is master's? Okay.
Well, no, the minimum is a bachelor's, right? That's for the 65,000, right? And it's the people that have a U.S. master's or higher that get there's 20,000 additional visas.
Oh, there are better opportunities if they have a better.
So they get two tries. They get a first try in the 65,000 and then a second try in the 20,000. Whereas people that have just a bachelor's degree or maybe a bachelor's and a foreign master's, they only get the one shot at the 65.
What about if there is a student who is finishing his master or her master degree, and she or he can get this opportunity even if he's studying, finishing a master's or finishing a doctor's degree? Doctors just...
Typically, no. Well, it depends. I'm actually going to get into the... this actually gets into the next question, which is, well, if I'm selected, when do I file? And this actually answers your question. So if you're selected, you'll know on April 1st, and then you have 90 days to file the full application, right? The question is, if you're currently studying, when do you graduate? If you graduate, if you hypothetically are going to graduate within that 90 days, then hypothetically you could have selected master's cap, right? But let's say you're going to graduate in December, then you would have to do it as under the bachelor's cap, right? Because your graduation is after when you would submit the case. But if selected, you got 90 days, and if you graduate before filing, then you could have selected the master's cap.
Let me do this question in another way. I'm a student. I'm finishing my master's. I want to continue my doctor's. Okay, finishing between these 90 days. Can I apply? Maybe I will be selected. I can work and then continue my studies.
So you can get an H-1B and also study. Most cases, right, you're filing your H-1B for a full-time position. So if you're studying, your study would have to be part-time. You'd have to be able to do your job and study. It is possible, though, to request a part-time H-1B. Good. So hypothetically, you could request a part-time H-1B and keep going to school in the fall. So you can actually do both.
Good. Thank you for your answer. It's a very good answer, because I think there are some cases that people are thinking in applying and studying, but let's see if this happens. Okay. We have another question. Can we read? Let me read it. If approved, when does this H-1B visa start?
Great. So we registered in March. We filed in April, May, or June. And let's just say you get an approval in July or August. Does it start right away? No. The H-1B starts on October 1st, because that is the first day of the fiscal year. So it doesn't matter when it's approved in the summer. It won't start until October 1st.
Good. So we have time for doing this. Let's see the next question, please, Joe. It says, what in my OPT expires before the H-1B visa start date?
Yeah, so this is a common problem. So when someone graduates, they can request OPT, which is, work authorization for 1 year. Most people graduate, in the summer. So their OPT goes from summer to summer. So it expires in June or July. But their H doesn't start until October. So it's like, well, there's a gap. Congress recognized this and created something called cap gap, right? Which says if you're selected in the H-1B cap and you file your H-1B case, then your OPT is automatically extended till September 30th, right? So if your OPT expires in June, it's automatically extended to September 30th, and then the next day you're in H-1B. So you're covered if your case is, if you're accepted in the lottery and file the H-1B. So
there is no problem having this part without this OPT. Yeah. Good. We have another. I will ask you, just give me 10 seconds. Let me take my notes to have it immediately. Just give me 5 seconds.
No problem. Another common question is, obviously, well, what happens if I'm not selected, right? Well, that really depends on your current plans and status, right? So if you have a STEM degree, then you can file for a 2-year extension of your OPT. So everyone that graduates gets 1-year OPT, and anybody that has a STEM degree can file a 2-year extension of that OPT. So that means you'll be able to stick around, keep working, and then apply in the next year's lottery. But some people, obviously, if you don't have a STEM degree, then those people, sometimes they can go back to school. Like if they got their bachelor's, put themselves into the H-1B lottery, didn't get selected, then they go back and do a master's, right? And then they'll do the H lottery the next year. Sometimes we have people do a change to J. J is a trainee or intern that sometimes you can do for a year that will help bridge the gap between your next H-1B cap. And then we do have people that go home because they really have no ability to stay. And we have had people go home and keep working for the U.S. company remotely, from their home country, and then the employer sponsors them again the next year in the H-1B lottery. You don't actually have to be here to be in the lottery, just as long as the company is willing to, submit your registration. So there's a couple of different options. There's even more than the ones we just spoke about, but we kind of have to look at each individual sort of situation. But again, the most common are filing a STEM OPT extension, going back to school for a master's, or maybe doing a J1.
Okay, I want to tell the people who are listening us and viewing us that we are not, we work in this kind of business, working business, but we also do family-based immigration, deportation, defense, and of course, the kind of employment-based and investment immigration. So we have a lot of possibilities to help you. Please, if you have any question, tell us what you need. And we have a couple phone numbers. Dallas 214-251-8011, and forward is 817 and 332-1100. Please contact us, call us. We can make an appointment. We can talk with you if you have any questions. And please remember, we are here for help you. And let's see the next question, Benjamin. What are the requirements for this H-1B visa? I suppose there are requirements for employees and for employees and for people who are applying.
Yes. So the requirements are based on the position. So the position offered has to be a specialty occupation, which basically means it has to require a specific degree. So for example, we see a lot of IT positions. So they require a degree in like information technology, computer science, or something related. Or you can see a lot of finance positions that require degrees in economics, accounting, finance. The key is that the position requires a specific degree. So obviously, if you're like, hey, I got offered this position, as a salesman. Well, unless you can prove that it's like a technical sales position that requires like a degree, like in engineering, which we've done, it may not qualify for the H-1B because it doesn't require a degree. The other problem you run into are positions that require a generalized degree. Those also don't qualify. So if you're saying, well, I got a job as a manager at this store, they just require a degree. That actually doesn't qualify. We have to be able to tie it to a specific degree. Now there are a couple other sort of key requirements for the employer. One being that the H-1B has what's called a prevailing wage. What this means is we have to go to the Department of Labor, match your job description to a job code, and then look up the prevailing wage for that job code in the area where you're working. And there's a couple different wage levels. And then that will govern how much the employer has to pay you. As an example, a common job code is a software developer. We see a lot of those. If we look up what a software developer is in Dallas, where we are, a level 1 wage is $76,000 a year. So that means the employer would have to be willing to pay you $76,000 a year in order to go through with the H-1B. There's 4 wage levels. In this case, it's 76, 93, 110. But most people that are coming out of school are level 1 wage. And again, that varies based on where you're located. So for example, software developer wage is going to be way higher in San Francisco than it is in Dallas or Houston. It also depends on the job code, right? Some are higher than others. And again, it all comes back to whether or not the position requires a specific degree. How do we know if it requires a specific degree? Again, we go to the Department of Labor. They have something called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. You can look it up online. But in there, we look up your job code. So if we look up software developer, the Department of Labor says that they usually have a bachelor's degree, typically in computer science, software engineering, or related field. So if we look at the Department of Labor, it's like, okay, they usually have a bachelor's degree, and it is relatively specific, right? It says computer science, software engineering, or related field. So this is kind of the analysis that you have to do, where you're balancing what is it that the employer requires, what is their job description, what does the employee actually have in terms of their education, and then what does the Department of Labor think the position normally should have. And again, we're not limited to people with just degrees. If you have enough experience, or maybe you did a partial degree and then experience, we can get an academic evaluation to determine whether or not your experience is the equivalent of a degree. So there are ways to still get the H even if you didn't get the degree or finish the degree, if you have enough experience.
So there are some requirements, and sometimes it's difficult to understand all these requirements. So that's why we are here for people who we can help them. They can contact us, they can call us, and we can find a solution in this kind of difficult process. So please call us, contact us, come in. We can give you an advice. We can have an appointment, and you can call us, and you can send us any question about this by this Facebook Live. Just write a test, and we can give you an answer. No problem. We can do this for you. So we have more questions. You have to tell us something else, Ben.
Yeah, I just want to conclude with, just want to follow up with, we are a full service immigration law firm, meaning we can handle any immigration matter. We have, attorneys that specialize in multiple fields. I handle our employment-based cases, and we can handle any type of employment-based case you may have, whether it be the H-1Bs, O-1s for extraordinary ability, R-1 religious, the E-investor and trade visas, TN professionals, you name it. We've done it. We can handle it. If you have any questions, let us know. And obviously right now, the H-1B registration is open, right? And it will close on March 25th. So if you do have any questions about the H-1B and about registration, get to us sooner rather than later, because the window is closing, and we can talk with you if you're the employee or the business, if you're the HR, to help work with you to figure out what is the best pathway forward, and to help you get set up for the registration. So if you have any questions, let us know. We're here to answer them.
And there is another way you can call. You can contact us. We have an application. Please, Joe, put it. This application is we have in this application is Guardian, and we can help you with all your questions. You can have this just testing. Please send a test Guardian to that number. It's 47177 to register and download this application. Through this application, you can receive information about this matter, and you can receive all our new information. You can ask us what is your question, and so it's a tremendous application that you can use. It's, remember, Guardian. Send us a text to number 47177, and you can receive all the information you need, and we can give you answers to this application. Okay. Thank you so much for all the people who are with us today. We appreciate that you are receiving us. We are with you. You are with us. And Benjamin, as always, Good job. Thank you so much for your help. Hopefully, this is not the first one. We are continue to do this with the people who are with us, our clients, future clients. And remember, Chavez Sambalco, appreciate your support. We are with you. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Benjamin. See you next week, or hopefully we can have this more more chance. Benjamin, ciao, Benjamin. You can
Ciao.
say ciao to people who are with us. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you, Alfonso.